We have a 40-year track record of resettling refugees. When everything unfolded late last summer in Afghanistan, we started to talk with the State Department and others about how we could help. And it became quickly apparent that we have all the tools right here and that Utica would be a good site, a good fit for this community. And so we literally started to negotiate numbers. So that's been an ongoing conversation throughout this process. And I will say that this caseload is unique in a lot of ways. One, there's a lot of mixed status cases. So there are some that are citizens, some that have SIV status, special immigrant visas, because they've been working with our military or other American companies over there. We serve them all. We have so many wraparound services here. And it's been pretty smooth operation from where we're sitting.
So I make a decision to go to be an interpreter, and I go to, there was a company by the name of MEP, Mission Essential Personnel, and that's a company that they're hiring an interpreter. So I given an exam and I passed an exam, so they just hired me as an interpreter with the Marines. The Marine teacher training the ANA and I interpreting them. Totally, I work with Marines like about 10 years from 2010 up to 2019. That's a 3-6 battalion Marine teaching the ANA to be well battlefield, to be well a warrior. They like train them on a weapon, train them on how to be on the battlefield, train them how to like defend themselves, train for a casevac, medevac, all these stuff that the Army needed, the Marine training them and I interpreting.
Well, it's very political. It's also very complicated. We were there for 20 years, and I don't think people expected Afghanistan to fall so quickly once we pulled out. It wasn't just the Biden administration. This plan was in play during the Trump administration, but it was a massive screw up. In general, I think that the U.S. should keep its word, because if they don't, going forward, it's going to be really hard to negotiate with other folks. If we make promises to people, we should keep them. What a mess. What a human disaster. We're working with the people that you saw on a newsreel running for their lives. Well, that's who we're working with here. This is our new community member.
When I go to the airport, like there was a bunch of people close to the airport, more than 10,000 people just collected, and everybody want to go to out of Afghanistan. So we have such a hard time when I entered the airport. So I had my family, my wife, my kid, and my 2 brothers, and push the people. That was the hardest time in my life. 10 hours, we just sitting in front of the airport gate. And a bunch of people come in and just make a crowd, too much crowd and making a crowd. Actually, I was not worried about myself. I had my wife and my kid. The only thing I was worried about my wife and my kids. The hardest time in my life, that was a 10 hour that we've been there. And then we fly to the Qatar.
The way that this unfolded has been incredibly traumatic and sudden. And so lots of folks are separated. Folks were running for their lives to get to the airport. Eventually, those doors were soldered shut. It was chaos, extremely violent, and families were definitely separated. And that is the reality that we're dealing with here with the caseload that we've resettled. Folks that went through this very traumatic experience. We've had some folks arrive here with, gunshot wounds that are going to need continuing care. I think it's important to note how this population came to us, which is pretty unique. It was so sudden, extremely violent, very traumatic, and now we do have family separations. It's going to be an ongoing process to try and deal with that for years to come, because there is no quick fix to this. That's not the way immigration works in this country. We do have an Immigration and Citizenship Department. We do help people apply for family that is left behind, but to do that, they have to have status here. It's not simple.